go traveling together. We spread a little love and then we keep moving on. It's MCU Mondays on Geek News Now. We're talking about Marvel on Geek News Now. Falcon and Winter Soldier, there was Loki coming next. The movies and on TV and the comics and the rest. It's Geek News Now. Here's your host, Chris.
Welcome back to MCU Mondays. I'm your host, Chris. I sang the song and put together all the clips. That's my role, and I stick to it. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Debbie. Debbie is also a member of the social media squad. She helps make sure all the great posts get out there from Geek News Now. We also have with us David, as we often do. David's been here with us many of our past shows. David is also the leader of the Literary Legion for geeknewsnow.net. He, oversees all the great articles we've got coming out. So check all that stuff out on geeknewsnow.net. We're also joined by Shaw. Shaw was with us last week, and he's back this week because he just can't get enough of that MCU Mondays. But when he's not doing MCU Mondays, he's over there doing the Geek Gauntlet, talking about the Arrowverse stuff. And the Geek Gauntlet itself is like a whole rundown of that week in geek news. Got to go check it out. We have it on our page, but you can check it out by searching for the Geek Gauntlet. And we're glad to have you with us, as well as, last but not least, Cam of Cam in Focus. He is one of our YouTubers. He makes the great Cam in Focus series and just had a phenomenal May. So far, it's not over, but a full week. He came out with a video every day of his new 60-second suggestion series, which was, I think, very well done, and we're looking forward to more. What an awesome panel. Woof. That was a lot. Also, before I forget, if you look in the description, you can enter our Star Wars giveaway. We're giving stuff away. There's lots of different ways to enter. There's lots of different prizes to win. Look in the description for how to do that. Star Wars giveaway. So today, while we've been waiting for the new Loki series to come out, we have been talking about the different phases of the MCU. We're going to talk about Phase 3 today, but before that, we've got a couple clips that we're going to look at. We've got new Black Widow clip, and we've got some new Loki footage. So let's look at the Black Widow stuff first. Sound good?
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
All right. Here we go.
Okay, anytime now, please. Shut up!
Pause.
Uh-oh.
Okay, you got a plan, or shall I just stay duck and cover?
My plan was to drive us away.
Well, your plan sucks. You're welcome.
So that was a little car chase action there from the upcoming Black Widow movie. Movie was supposed to come out a while ago, a year ago, but it was delayed because of COVID and different things. Actually, I'm pretty sure Madam Hydra from Falcon and the Winter Soldier was supposed to actually debut in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But she ended up debuting in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier first. But what did you guys think of that clip right there?
It was good. It was good.
Some solid
I liked
action.
it. Yeah, the stunt work looks pretty good. It looks like a lot of it was done surprisingly in camera.
Oh yeah, a lot of live action stuff as opposed to just massive CGI. Yeah, definitely getting some vibes of spy thriller action movies because that's what Black Widow is among this team of superheroes. she was trained as a super spy. So this should be a super spy movie. And it looks like it is.
This is going to be the MCU's Jason Bourne.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And and we're gonna get that superhero tinge of it when we get her nemesis or her foe, which will be Taskmaster.
Oh yeah. And
I would have liked to see a little bit cooler costume from him, but I'm hoping, like, I wanted a full-on skull, like it looks kind of like something you'd wear skiing, but like
a paintball mask.
Yeah, it looks like a paintball mask. I wanted like just a skull, like a face. It's a skull face. But I'm hoping that his awesomeness in action will make up for that. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of her backstory too. Black Widow. It looks to be good.
Long time coming, that's for sure.
Long time coming. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is one of those ones that I've told my son. I'm like, we're not doing Disney Premier Access on this one. We are. This is a theater movie. We are going to the theater on opening weekend.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
We've been waiting for this one since last year.
Probably should have come out during Phase 3, if we're being honest. Like, when now, because she died at the spoiler alert. So she's dead. It's harder for me to care about her character when I know that, like, how will this even affect what's going forward? And it's been delayed. So there's so many things that is going to give this movie a tough time. I hope it does well. I hope it is a good movie, but we'll see. We've got Loki footage. They also released some new Loki footage.
Oh, Debbie.
Debbie's
All about that Loki.
I'm ready
And-
for it.
Owen Wilson.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Let me actually turn the volume on. Here we go.
I'm Agent Mobius, by the way. Are you taking me somewhere to kill me? No, that's where you just were. I'm taking you someplace to talk. Well, I don't like to talk, but you do like to lie, which you just did. Because we both know you love to talk. Talky. How long have you been here? I don't know, it's hard to say. Time passes differently here in the TVA. What does that mean? You'll catch up.
So you're part of the TVA's courageous and dedicated workforce.
Yes.
You were created by the Timekeepers.
Yep.
To protect the sacred timeline.
Correct. Is that funny?
The idea that your little club decides the fate of trillions of people across all of existence at the behest of 3 space lizards. Yes, it's funny. It's absurd.
I thought you didn't like to talk.
So this is a Endgame. Tatooine.
There's been an awakening. Have you felt it?
Oh god.
Oh, hello, Mongolians.
Look out for a shitty wall.
You taking me somewhere to kill me? No, I'm taking you someplace to talk. Well, I don't like to talk. But you do like to lie, which you just did. Because we both know you love to talk. Talky. How long have you been here? I don't know, it's hard to say. Time passes differently here in the TVA. What does that mean? You'll catch up. Glorious.
And it's gone. And see, that was an interesting place for it to freeze because now it's like he's looking at us like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah. We are the Watchers.
Oh, God. Am I Stan Lee?
Okay. So, are we all back?
Yeah.
I don't know what that was. I apologize. Let me just get back to here and we'll get it going again. And is that where we were? Let's just go.
He was looking up at us.
That's good enough.
Glorious. Brother, I'm down. You better be ready. Come on. What did you expect?
So, what did we think of that?
President Loki. Love it.
Good.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what they're doing because among the things that we're going to talk about later this show during phase 3 are like Endgame, obviously time travel, and the time travel in that movie, we'll get to talking about that, but hopefully this helps explain exactly how fixing time works or what that even means, because it seems the Time Variance Authority, and they're literally showing him clips from like his life. Probably they're going to end up showing him what would have happened to him if he hadn't picked up the Tesseract, but that's all plot that we're going to have to wait and see. But yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say one thing that got me about this was, well, and it was kind of the whole scene with the I call it the DB Cooper scene because that's exactly what it looked like, was him jumping off the plane, but he also said, "Brother Heimdall, I hope you're ready, to catch me," basically.
Yeah, with the
so are we going to get Chris Hemsworth in here?
That was the question: are we going to be seeing guest appearances by? Because it's also time, so it's like, is he going and fixing messing up other things in time? Now Loki has access to a time machine. Is that what you're telling me?
Surely not.
Owen Wilson, you're going to get fired for this. What was it? Agent Mobius?
Yes.
And see, this is something that I don't know any of the backstory from like the comics or anything, so I'm completely in the dark on this. I kind of just want to see what they do with it.
Something else, too. Did you notice the ominous black hooded figure with the fire around him?
Yeah.
Is that Mephisto?
That's
my
God.
My theory is coming true.
I'm gonna have to make a Mephisto alert right next to the boner alert. Mephisto alert. What happened? Anything. Mephisto alert. But yes, there's a mysterious hooded figure, so we can all start speculating on that, I guess. I think I'm just gonna wait and see. Watch it turn out to be Mephisto. I'm like, this is it.
It's there, finally.
So skeptical. But there was also, I think it's right around here. There's a scene of a woman sitting on that.
Oh, well.
Yeah, that's probably her.
Do you think so?
Yeah. It's like her from the back, so yeah, probably is her.
Oh, my.
Mm,
The hair looks right.
I think,
the hair looks right, but not.
Already say that she was like a female Loki.
yeah,
I was
lady.
gonna say Lady Loki. It could be. That's what other people are saying because it looks like Black Widow, but her hair when she died, she had it tied up in a braid, but it was her hair when she had it longer, and the roots were all red from the 5 years, but then the end was blonde. So that hair would only make sense if she then cut it somehow after she died, or
Unless there's an alternate version of Black Widow,
or Black Widow
or
from
a
the first
past
Avengers
version.
movie.
But then why is she sitting in that? Who knows? And I guess that's one of the things. Here's a tease, you'll find out. But is that Black Widow? It looks like her. They did that on purpose. But
Boner alert.
we shall have to wait and see. I don't think that's a boner alert necessarily.
No, it's just Marvel screwing with us.
We have to wait and see the actual. Although I did say it for the trailer that they used the Hulk in, that he was never actually in the movie. So look out!
There you go.
There it is.
Boner alert. Speaking of which, Phase 3, MCU. Let's talk about it. Start right off the beginning, Civil War.
Civil War.
I love
Fantastic
that
film.
Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. I think that as far as telling a compelling story as well as having that great action, I think that Winter Soldier and Civil War especially, I think did it the best. The Russo brothers really knocked it out of the park as far as directing the character interactions, making the narrative progress very naturally. I think that Civil War is in the top 3 best films of Phase 3.
It's a good. It's definitely a great starting point. Because it's necessary what happens in Civil War, like the diverging path of Steve and Tony, and not just about the Sokovia Accords, but actually their personal friendship above that. Because the Sokovia Accords are one thing. Even by the end of the movie, Tony's kind of like disobeying them to going to meet up with Cap secretly because he's like, well, whatever. But it's then at that point when they actually get in there and Tony learns that Captain America knew that the Winter Soldier killed his parents and didn't tell him. That's when their friendship gets broken. And that is literally, that stays in effect all the way up into Infinity War. Because when Infinity War starts, Doctor Strange gets Tony and Tony's explaining things to Bruce that he missed while he was off on, doing Planet Hulk Ragnarok, but he's like, the Avengers are broken up. That they've been broken up since Civil War, and Bruce doesn't even get it. He's like, broken up what? Like the Beatles? And then he's like, it doesn't matter who you're talking to or not talking to right now. Thanos is coming, but they never actually get together in Infinity War. They never assemble. But Cam, you were about to say something.
No, I was just gonna say, and doesn't Infinity War take place like 2 years after Civil War? That's a long time for the Avengers to be broken up.
And then you kind of had what's that, Shaw?
I think it's supposed to be 3.
It might be. It was a long time.
It was definitely multiple years, that the Avengers are not a team. Maybe some of them were still under the Sokovia Accords, like whoever fought on Tony's side. I know, like, Ant-Man was under house arrest, even in Ant-Man 2 in the beginning of that,
so
for participating. Hawkeye. So was Hawkeye. But yeah, you didn't have the Avengers, really, because Captain America was on the run at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't have Captain America. I mean, and they even said it in Age of Ultron. Tony's like, he's the leader. I just build everything and pay for everything and make everybody look cool.
Yeah, there you go.
Speaking of look cool, I think we should first talk about the mic drop that was the announcement of Phase 3. First what happened was Marvel announced the release date for Captain America 3. They announced the release date, and then Warner Brothers decided to take that release date as well for Batman v Superman, thinking that would force Marvel to move. But then Kevin Feige made a statement: we're not going to move. You want a Marvel vs. DC? We'll give it to you. A week later, Warner Brothers moved their release date. And then a week after that, Marvel released their press release where they actually announced the titles of each movie in Phase 3, saving the best for last, which was Civil War. which explained why they were willing to go against Batman v Superman. I just wanted to bring that up.
Oh yeah,
Lovely.
it was definitely it was funny. I remember back. Yeah, they're each trying to force each other's hands, doing things at the same time, and that hasn't even changed all that much because we've got Loki coming out and we've got Multiverse of Madness getting ready, and when those were announced and things like that, Warner was talking about doing Flashpoint, but I think they even just got sold again, or they're making a new hybrid company with Discovery.
Yeah.
So that's a whole. Who knows what's going to be going on with that?
They're going to reboot everything.
Stick to Marvel. Well, that could possibly be for the best.
It should
Stick to Marvel. Phase 3. Civil War. That's also the introduction of the Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
First time we get to see him.
Spider-Man too.
And
Spider-Man. First time we see Spider-Man. That was huge. Because no one thought that could happen unless, Marvel or Disney was to buy Sony, because how else would they get the rights? That's what they had to do with Fox. Then the deal came together.
Sony just decided to play nice with their toys.
Well, they knew that they could make money.
Because Seth Rogen made the interview that pissed off North Koreans. They hacked Sony, and because of that, Sony decided to get some goodwill by making a deal with Disney.
Making a deal with the Disney.
Yep.
They both start with a D.
Well, thank goodness they did. Whatever series of events led to it. I think, although that's an interesting point to bring up, Phase 3 is the phase of Spider-Man. We have no Spider-Man in the MCU before that. They kind of shoved him in and made his story a little bit different. They didn't want to do Uncle Death Ben scene again.
Mm-hmm.
Because we just had that like twice.
In fact, it really wasn't even an origin. I mean, he touched on it a little bit. He said, whatever happened. Then all of a sudden, I'm going nuts. But
and he was already Spider-Man at that point.
Yeah, he was already Spider-Man. There was no real.
And then he did a long-winded version of "With great power comes great responsibility," which went something along the lines of, "If you have the abilities to do the things that I can do, and the bad things happen, and you don't do anything to stop it, then the bad things happen because of you." And I was like, "Whoa! Just say with great power comes great responsibility. We know what you're shooting for." But that was, it was a fun introduction, but then it became very much like he's Tony's protege in this, as opposed to his own Spider-Man. Like the character that they made him for the Phase 3 of the MCU was basically Tony's son or his ward. They even make that joke. Who is this? Your ward? No. Which is weird because they also tried to do the same thing in Iron Man 3 with that other kid, but then they got the rights to Spidey and they were like, how can we combine Spider-Man and Iron Man for the money?
Yeah, it is kind of an interesting route that they're taking, as far as Peter Parker's character, because especially in Far From Home, the biggest plot thread of that film was the fact that Peter was still kind of living in Tony Stark's shadow, and being that he was essentially Tony Stark's protege, he had all these expectations and all these obligations, it seems like, that people thought that he had, and it made for a compelling character arc. It's just kind of interesting that they thought that up in the first place, because that they touched on it kind of in Civil War, and then they kind of hammered it home in Homecoming, and I like that they're doing that. It's just interesting that they are.
And I've seen I didn't have a problem with it either. Most of the people that I see that don't like it are hardcore Spider-Man fans, and I've definitely seen a lot of posts that are just like, the MCU ruined Spider-Man, and I'm like, that might be an overreaction.
Yeah, I disagree with that. This is like
I was going to say, yeah,
Spider-Man. Like, this is the best portrayal of Spider-Man compared to the last two movies. He's younger, like he's supposed to be. This is the original Spider-Man. Like, he came back as a kid in high school, dealing with issues, be more about who he is as a person. I mean, I get that they changed a few things, having, Tony there. But then again, there's a lot of different versions of Spider-Man. This is the MCU version. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And not a lot of people always think of it that way. They're, I'm a huge fan of this. I love this. And it's got to be exactly the same. It's like, but even when there are crossovers and different things like that in comics, there's different versions. That's the whole thing about comics is there's a run of comics and then that run ends and then you start a new different. So like there's even room out there, especially with Multiverse of Madness comes out. Who knows what they're going to be doing with possible alternate realities, alternate versions of things. There's a lot of possibility there. Speaking of Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange first appeared. I guess he was first mentioned by name in Captain America 2.
Civil War, yeah.
Civil War.
Well, no, not Civil War.
Not Civil War.
Oh, no,
Winter
Winter
Soldier.
Soldier.
Winter Soldier, yeah. And that's just when that one agent's like, anyone who's dangerous, blah, 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 Doctor Strange. Name drop, and everyone's like, ah! And then lo and behold, he gets his own movie. Pretty great movie, too.
Yeah.
That journey through the tumbling through craziness. I mean, I'm just like, the next one's actually just called Multiverse of Madness. There's probably going to be a lot more of that type of stuff. And I loved that from the get-go. So,
yeah, I've always said, go ahead, Cam.
No. It's okay. I'm sorry.
I've always said that's just that movie is so visually stunning. There's just so much to look at. I watched the movie twice this weekend and I'm still catching stuff. And I've seen that movie probably about 1 million times, but I just love the movie. It's colorful. It's, Benedict Cumberbatch. You can't complain about that. But yeah, visually stunning. I love that movie.
If you love that movie, I can't help but recommend this wonderful music video we have. It's under trailers and music videos. It is to the song Super Unknown, and you got to go check it out because
it's amazing.
I think it hypes on all the points you were just talking about. And right there at the end, it makes so much sense because the chorus keeps going alive in the Super Unknown. Dormammu, I've come here to bargain. Alive in the Super. So good. I can't play it now because they'd copyright block us, but
I love that he wins
check it out.
Over
they
his opponents.
What'd you say?
I love that he wins by outthinking his opponent and making his opponent rage quit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And how long did that take? I mean, that's one of the things people were like, how did he get so good at the Mystic Cards? I was like, he had basically infinity to practice and then get killed. And so maybe he's learned to hold him off a little bit longer each time. Like he did a lot of training in that time loop.
Yeah. Plus you got to figure, Doctor Strange, he's a neurosurgeon. He is extremely intelligent. And as shown in the film itself, he is a very fast and capable learner. So I mean, yeah, he started off improvising, but as it went on, he just got better and better and better and better at it.
Well, and too, it showed, and I think it was in the montage where he was training, where he would let his body sleep. His body would go to sleep, and his astral form was still up,
studying. Yep.
So he was still gathering the knowledge and letting his body sleep. I mean, his mind was constantly functioning, for lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Here's a question to you guys. Have any of you guys seen the animated Doctor Strange movie from years ago? Well, it's a good story too. I just want to see if you guys, which story you think is better, because there's a few changes, few differences. Like there's more emphasis on Doctor Strange's sister in the animated movie, that being the reason why he became a surgeon.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
I didn't even know there was an animated movie.
I didn't either.
The Ultimate Avengers.
Is it on Disney Plus?
Maybe. It might be. I know I've seen it on Netflix. I'm not sure if it's on Disney Plus.
Oh, maybe that. I've seen it before, and I've seen it on a streaming. Maybe that was where I saw it. Was
basically in like the early 2000s and mid 2000s. They had a Doctor Strange movie, a Iron Man movie, 2 Ultimate Avengers movies based on the Ultimate comics specifically, and then the next Avengers, which revolved around their children in the future. of dystopian future with Ultron. It's a good series of movies.
I might have to check them out if I can get a chance, but I haven't watched them. I've been too busy rewatching all of the MCU.
Yeah. And I still didn't get through it this weekend.
Well, no, Phase 3 was kind of a, I did Phase 1, all right, Phase 2, and then I got to Phase 3, and I was like, good Lord, look at all these movies. And 2 of them are Infinity War and Endgame, which are like 3 hours long. So
Yeah.
They're like the Harry Potter books. They started off small, but as they progressed, they just got
really
longer and
started
longer.
And that's as they're they're introducing all the new elements. And now once we get to like Phase 4, once we're doing Phase 5, it's gonna be like watch 5 TV shows and several who knows how many movies. It's like, oh god. So it's only gonna get better from here. But that was definitely so. Continuing right along, Thor 3, which kind of was a step in a different direction in a lot of ways from the other 2 Thor movies, in terms of the humor, literally in terms of the visuals, in terms of how Thor looks. They give him a haircut. They were moving away from. Is your cat attacking you?
No, I just was pissed when they cut off his hair.
You still liked it, Debbie. Come on. You still thought he was hot.
I thought he
even
looked
with
better.
the short hair.
Yeah, he
He's
was
not
hot, but
handsome.
I just like the long hair. Just like with the Winter Soldier, I prefer him with the longer hair. I mean, he's adorable with the short, but I just like the longer hair.
Well, I think the long hair could be absolutely ridiculous. Here's okay. In Endgame at the very end when Pepper Potts has the Iron Man suit and then she's got the long hair comes out of it and then like the thing goes up around just like,
where'd their hair go?
how did you do that, Tony? Tony, you're a wizard. If you can make a bike helmet that can do that for people, I mean, you have no idea. How did you do that? And that's the kind of stupid thing that I get hung up on.
I love Thor Ragnarok. Lots of humor. And it was really a tribute to Jack Kirby.
Yeah.
All the colors, the illustrations. I mean, big tribute to him. And I think they even say that in some of the extras on Disney Plus. And you got
Jeff
Loki and Thor working together.
Let's do Get Help. I actually
Not doing
watched
Get
that. We're not doing Get Help. I hate it. So humiliating.
Not for me.
It's kind of funny. I talk to a lot of people who surprisingly don't like that film, who are MCU fans. They don't like that film because they think that it's too silly. That they say that it ruined Thor's character because everybody still wanted, the brooding royalty Shakespearean Thor who says art and thou too much. And I don't know. Honestly, I disagree. Like that for that film, I like the direction that they took the character, and then as the films went on, you still had hints of that silliness kind of scattered throughout, but he did kind of take that step back to be a bit more serious. So I feel like that film was kind of a stepping off point to really build Thor's personality beyond just saying old English words that nobody says anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and I kind of mentioned this with the Guardians of the Galaxy movie last week, to where that movie was placed. You'd had serious movie. Now here's something a little lighthearted, just to kind of lighten the mood, kind of thing. So, and I mean, it was a serious movie. It was a funny, serious movie, but it was a serious. It was like the Guardians of the Galaxy, where it wasn't silly, but it kept you entertained and it kept you laughing and crying and everything else.
Well, and then you had a couple of great cameos in Thor Ragnarok. You had Matt Damon and Sam Neill. I mean,
the opening act, when they're performing for fake Odin.
Boner alert!
Have them build a statue of me with my crown with the big horns.
That was very quickly revealed. That payoff that was paid off, and wonderful, right in its own scene. Thor comes back, nothing as well. The thing that I do get is when people say like it's too humorous, I would agree with that. I think they could have taken out a joke here and there, but at the same time, because he did just lose his father and he was this character that was more serious, so how come he's just not? Maybe that's partially maybe how he's dealing with it, is through humor. And also he's been spending more time with the Avengers, and they kind of show that with like Tony Stark and how his nickname to get onto the Quinjet. Oh,
Point
what
Break.
was it? Point Break. Yeah.
Point Break.
Point Break. And then in like in Endgame, after he's gotten, depressed, they call him Big Lebowski. He's like one side. Big
One side Lebowski.
Yeah. And so he's been around this type of humor, so it makes sense that he would maybe develop some of it himself. And there's so much humor in that, but then we see the other side of that in Infinity War and in Endgame. There's some moments when he's talking to Rocket about losing his whole family, and he kind of smiles it off, but you see he's not hurting. Yeah, he's hurting. It's hurting.
Yeah, it's all front.
That great moment when Rocket says, "Well, what if you're wrong?" And he says, "What more can I lose?
What more can I lose?"
That's just a lot of feelings right there,
Oh yeah, and that was something that they really did well in Infinity War and in Endgame, was blending, and they do it really well overall, is blending humor with more serious notes. Like, because I have a lot of fun during these movies, and then I get emotional during other parts, but then I'm laughing.
I'm gonna French fry this little freak.
Let's do it. You shoot my guy and I'll blast him. Let's go. Do it, Quill. I can take it.
No, he can't take it.
She's right, you can't.
Just the interactions of these characters meeting for the first time, and like they should be on the same side. I don't know who it should.
All right, let me ask you this one time. What master do you serve?
What master do I serve? What am I supposed to say, Jesus?
It's genuinely fun to see these characters who can hold up their own movies all get to come together and work with each other, act off of each other. And I got to give it to Rhodey. Don Cheadle had a lot of good lines, and like,
why don't we just find baby Thanos, and
First of all, that's horrible.
it's Thanos.
That's
You got
horrible.
there's that. I love that because I'm right there with Rhodey. Like, thank goodness someone's asking that question.
Thor, what do you know?
Is he asleep? No. I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Yeah, to be honest, one of my favorite Don Cheadle lines from the movies is when he's in his suit and he slams down in front of Ant-Man and he stands up and goes, "What's up, regular size man?"
Regular size man.
I also like how everyone gives Ant-Man crap. Like Falcon calls him Tic Tac.
Falcon calls him Tic Tac. Regular size man, and then Nebula. There's an idiot in the landing zone.
It's an idiot in the landing zone. Oh my gosh!
You want my autograph? I'm Ant-Man.
But he's hardly like.
Thor, he's back. That kid on the TV just called me a dickhead again.
Noob Master, hey, it's Thor again. The God of Thunder? Listen, buddy, if you don't log off this game immediately, I'm gonna fly over to your house, come down to that basement you're hiding in, rip off your arms, and shove them up your butt!
That is the other side of that. He's too humorous in Ragnarok. That was funny. That whole thing that he's living in depression, living in his own filth. He's gained weight because he spent the last 5 years just wallowing in depression because he feels like he failed. And that's how that movie starts. How is everyone dealing with their failure? And Iron Man's kind of doing the best.
Mm-hmm.
But you know how that ends. And it's tough because he had it. Everyone had it bad at the end of Infinity War. Gosh, I remember seeing that in theaters and just listening to all the kids crying.
Oh, Luke was sitting beside me. He came out bawling.
When everyone's getting dusted, then the after the credits thing is just them dusting it again. I was just sitting there like, this is perfect, and everyone like was losing their minds. I'm like, wasn't that great? And other people are like, ah.
I absolutely love Thor's story in Endgame. I mean, everything he lost, the portrayal of depression and all that, like, it's really great. I really like. I hate anyone who says, "Oh, they made him a laughing stock." No, that's what depression looks like. You know, he makes jokes to hide what he feels. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
then
he drinks to do the same thing.
And when he grabs the hammer, when he calls it back, he's surprised.
That moment is heartbreaking.
It's like, I'm still worthy.
That moment is just so heartbreaking. He understanding that he didn't feel like he was worthy anymore. He lost the hammer that tells him, yes, you are worthy. And he didn't even think to reach for it. His mom gives him just enough strength to try. And even then, he still didn't believe that it would happen. And then when it does happen, like the look on his face, I mean, you can't say that moment isn't heartbreaking, man. Seriously.
Yeah, and then near the end, before the big final battle in Endgame, whenever he's begging Tony to let him snap his fingers, he's saying, "Just let me do something right for once."
Yes,
like
exactly.
You know, it's kind of a smaller moment that's overlooked by a lot of people, but if you think about it, you know this is Thor desperate. Yeah, he's desperate to atone for the fact that he literally had his like Thanos in the palm of his hand. And let him slip through at the end of Infinity War.
Yep. Went for the pain, not the death.
That's part of what he talks about with his mom is she says, no one can be who they're supposed to be. You got to be who you are. And that's the line. It's something like that. That might have been it exactly. Yeah. But that's the line he says at the end when he gives up his kingdom or what's left of it to Valkyrie. And he says, you know, I'm done trying to be who I'm supposed to be. It's time for me to start figuring out or to start being who I am. And then he takes off with the Guardians. That's Guardians of the Galaxy. So we'll see where that goes with Thor: Love and Thunder. Who knows?
Guardians Volume 3. Could be 2.
And who knows if because the Guardians may well be involved in. I don't think they're going to be hugely involved in it though. Because of the most that I've seen, like with all the casting announcements for it, it seems like it's a bunch of.
I know Nebula and Peter Quill are both in it. I know that there were some scene pictures released last week. The two of them are definitely in it.
So is Thor going to cameo in Guardians Volume 3 then?
Very likely.
Which could. Who knows when we'll be seeing Adam Warlock? But that was teased at the
at the end of
the end credits of Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
5 years ago.
At this point, we don't know.
In a minute, yeah.
Oh, it's Keanu Reeves.
People have been saying that for 5 years.
I know.
At this point, it's unnecessary. Like, unless they want to do the whole splitting of good and evil parts of him thing and do all the cosmic cubes thing, it's unnecessary to bring in on West now.
I don't know what they're going to do, but they teased him already is all I was saying.
Yeah, they teased him like way too long ago.
Yeah. He should have had a bigger
Thanos at the...
I don't think he was unnecessary to Infinity War anyway.
Okay.
Oh boy.
I don't know. I was just mentioning that they teased him at the end of that, so we could be seeing it because they also, I mean, there was Sylvester Stallone was in that movie with a whole bunch of other Guardians. So I would be assuming we'd be seeing some payoff from all of that. I mean, Marvel does like to plan things out as much as possible. So,
or that could be another boner.
Nation in a while.
You hate to see it, but it does happen.
Right next to a huge steaming bowl of foreshadowing.
So which one will it be? A steaming bowl of foreshadowing or a boner alert? That's the ultimate question. Ant-Man was kind of an important movie. Ant-Man 2, it set up the whole time travel possibility.
True.
And the Ant-Man movies are just fun. Like if
Yes.
And
if
they
I was
gave us
like-
Agent Woo.
yeah, Agent
Yes.
Woo introduction, the magic thing, the
The close-up magic.
close up magic. Even the stepdad of his daughter was just like, he does a magic thing. It's like, well, he's like, how'd you do that?
And who doesn't love Paul Rudd? I mean, he's just so adorable.
So goofy, so funny, and the not those three wombats, like his supporting cast of crooks, with Luis. They're just like they're literally more fun, more goofy fun than some of the other movies in the MCU, and it did introduce the quantum realm and everything that set up the possibility for that in Endgame. And we even saw the next Ant-Man is going to be called Quantum Mania. And even in Ant-Man 2, at one point Paul Rudd goes, "What, you guys just put quantum in front of everything?" And they literally named the next one Quantum Mania, and I'm just, that's hilarious. And I'm excited to see where they go with that. And it was cool to see the Wasp. It was Ant-Man and the Wasp, not Ant-Man 2. I should stop calling it that. It was great to see the Wasp in action.
Yep.
Yeah,
And even go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, if there's one thing that I'm really hoping for as far as Ant-Man 3, it's that I really hope that we get some kind of closure with Ghost.
Oh, she's probably dead.
She probably is, but I don't want to think that. I don't want them to leave it like that. I don't want them to have her just die off screen.
Either she's dead or she's going to be a part of the Thunderbolts. One of the two.
Yeah.
Didn't Janet heal her?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Temporarily.
The whole point of them
going but it's also been 5 years.
Yeah, more of the particles.
Maybe she got blipped, and now they'll have time to get some particles for her.
Maybe that's what Quantum Mania is about.
Maybe.
Going back to the quantum realm to get the particles.
Quantum Mania. Are you ready for this? Probably not. Let's go, Tic Tac. And that could be Captain America and Ant-Man teaming up again, except now Captain America can fly. Definitely going to be interesting to see. Well, that's after Multiverse of Madness. Who knows what's going to happen there? Oh, but speaking of that, Multiverse of Madness, speaking of Loki, that's the next thing coming up. The time travel in Endgame.
If you travel to the past, that past becomes your future, and your former present becomes the past, which can't now be changed by your new future.
So Back to the Future is a bunch of bullshit?
Great Scott!
Now, what that means you can't change the future by changing the past. You can only create like branching timelines. And so when they're returning the stuff to the past, they're trying to fix the different branch to make sure you don't create even more branching timelines. And that's like what Loki is. It's a massive screw up that created a giant. That was something that they didn't even address in Endgame. They just like, we need a different way to get this stone. They do it, but that completely leaves out the fact that Loki escaped in 2012, but he wasn't supposed to. So that's one of the reasons I can't wait for the Loki thing, is just like to learn more about time travel in the MCU. Because I feel like that's got to affect Multiverse of Madness too in some way. Maybe. We'll see. Go on, Cam.
Well, no, I wasn't really going to say anything. I was just kind of affirming what you were saying.
I can't wait to see it. Yeah.
I don't know that Multiverse of Madness is going to deal too much with time travel. I think it's just going to be more like dimension jumping, especially with the end of WandaVision teasing, her kids and stuff like that. I think that it's going to be more on that. I don't know. I'm thinking that.
I would agree with you. I'm just saying alternate timelines creates branching realities. So even if he's not going to be time traveling, he might be going to some different realities affected by
the time travel.
Who knows? Yeah.
Maybe we'll see Loki.
Who knows? Like, I don't even know what's going to happen in Loki, because that's the whole thing. Is in Endgame, it starts off, or in Infinity War, it starts off with him dying. So like the Loki timeline, but one of the last things he says is the sun will shine on us again, brother. So like, was that just him being optimistic, or has he been time traveling and he actually knows that they will see each other again?
Because the Infinity War Loki has lived through the 2012 Loki's escape, and I'm gonna guess he's been put back, so he already knows.
Well, they show him what happens too. So
Yeah, that's the other thing. Well, how much do they show him? So far in the previews, you would think so far in the previews they've only shown him seeing stuff that he's actually already been a part of. So it'll depend on if they actually show him everything that's supposed to happen to him,
alternate futures and whatnot.
But if they show him that he's supposed to die, 2012 Loki hasn't gone through Thor 2 or Thor 3 and learning some teamwork values and things like that. So he might just be like, I'm gonna not die, so I'm gonna do whatever I got to do for that. I can't wait to see what happens. That's what I was like. And Owen Wilson being in it, I was just like, where did that come from? Oh wow.
I'll say this: I'm going into Loki right now based on Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision. I am going in expecting nothing. I don't expect to see Mephisto. I don't expect to see Captain America's new costume. I'm expecting nothing. I am not going to be disappointed in this one.
I'm expecting Loki. Wait.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see Loki. I want to see Owen
I'm not even
Wilson.
expecting that. First episode, Loki shows up. Oh my god, it's Loki! I was not expecting this. On a Wednesday, no less.
Owen Wilson. That's the only thing I'm expecting at this point. Because that's the only thing that's confirmed.
How many episodes is it?
I think it's 6, right?
6. Could be. 6 episodes.
Hour long.
Have any of them really been straight up hour long so far?
Well, I mean, you're
Some
talking 42, anything over 40 minutes. I mean, that's like a regular show without commercials. So, yes, an hour show.
No, because there's no commercials. And I wouldn't call a 44-minute long show an hour show. I'd call it a 44-minute long show with a bunch of commercials. And I'd call these 30 to 45-minute long shows with 10 minutes of credits at the end.
Right.
And no end credit scene. What the crap?
Sometimes end credit scene. They really kind of play it fast and loose with that.
Yeah.
With WandaVision, they kind of did it based upon the time period, like
what was
when
happening.
shows actually started to get, or when the MCU started to do end credit scenes in that time, that they started to do it in the show. But with Falcon and Winter Soldier, they didn't.
I think there was just the one, wasn't there?
The one at the very end.
Was it where John was building the building his shield?
Yeah.
That was like the next to the last episode.
So yeah, interesting how they're doing that. But again, they're mini series. They're not a movie. Maybe you
They're
can't
not a movie. Okay, fine.
have
They're
an
not a
end
movie.
credit scene for every episode.
Fine.
I don't know. Maybe there will be. Maybe this time there will be.
Well, it's Loki. He's a trickster. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to cut this short, guys. I got to skedaddle.
Oh, it's okay. We're almost at an hour anyway. Thanks for being here, Cam.
All
Glad
right.
you could hang out.
Y'all have a good night, okay?
Later.
You too.
Bye.
Right, bye.
Okay. So, I mean, I know we haven't talked about some of the entire movies yet. Captain Marvel came out to introduce Captain Marvel. In my that's where I was thinking the Black Widow movie maybe should have been.
Captain Marvel was okay, but probably my favorite parts had to do with the younger Nick Fury. We got to see Agent Coulson, who I love. So, yeah.
The best part of Captain Marvel was the Stan Lee cameo, because it was the Mallrats cameo, so it was just that was, and I'm I'm gonna say this: the Flarkin, the cat.
Flarkin.
The Flarkin. Yes.
Haven't we also seen
Best
that?
character ever?
We've also seen that in Loki, right? In the first trailer.
I think so. Yeah.
There's a cat sitting there, and he looks at. He's like, "Whoa!" So like he knows what it is. So that could be something that also connects that. What I didn't like about the Flarkin was just from that it scratched out Nick Fury's eye, and he was like, in Winter Soldier, he's like, the last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye. And I was like, wait, that's the backstory?
That's the cat?
Yeah, like you trusted the cat? Come on.
He did trust the cat.
I know, but
liked
that's such
the
a weird
cat.
thing to say.
Well, the thing is, it's an embarrassment. He's embarrassed. So, yeah, he's not going to say, yeah, a cat scratched my eye out. He's just going to say he's going to cover it up somehow. So I thought it was perfect.
Ooh, or maybe that Nick Fury isn't the real Nick Fury, but rather he's a Skrull, and he lost his eye due to something else, and there's a different story behind it.
Nobody is who they say they are. Last time I trusted someone, I wasn't actually me.
Hey, yeah.
Whoa! What does that mean? Oh, man.
Is that your bird? I'm confused. You said it wasn't, but now it looks like you're best of pals. You love that bird, don't you? You know what? Take the bird.
I think the thing that annoyed me the most about Captain Marvel was you had the Guardians movies, and they had great soundtracks, and they were plugging Quill into the era of late 70s, early 80s, music and all this stuff.
A moment that he's stuck in.
Right, yes, it's a moment that he's stuck in. But with Captain Marvel, okay, so the movie happens in the 90s, and there were so many cliches and references to the 90s. I mean, I was like, she landed on Earth, and you had the payphone and the beepers and the Radio Shack and the music was all 90s music. And at some point I was just like, okay, I get it. You're in the 90s.
Get it?
Stop shoving it down my throat, please. I understand. I know where you are. Okay, great.
90s established.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they definitely went pretty hard on that. There was maybe a gimmick that they overplayed their hand on a little bit. Because when you're watching, I mean, even like the first Captain America, it's not like you're constantly just like it's fine, but they're not just like, get it? It's the 40s. It's the 40s.
I mean, the only time that was really it even touched on it was the montage where he was Captain America and he was punching out Hitler, because you had the 40s music style to it, and it was just it just had a 40s feel to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like the 90s. That's the thing. It's like it wasn't even that long ago. Like a lot of people's like, get it? There's a beep. Oh, there's a payphone. There's a Blockbuster.
Saying that long ago, but in reality, that shit was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So you say not so long ago, but
that was a long time ago.
Not that long ago. 30 years.
Now I feel older than what I did.
I know.
I mean, it's not as long ago as 90 years ago. It's all relative.
Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to exit the donut.
Nick Fury, I mean, man, Samuel Jackson. I wonder how much longer he's going to be in the MCU. They're setting stuff up for him with like Secret Wars or Secret Invasion. Yeah. Because, I mean, he's been up in that Skrull ship or whatever and having fake Skrulls pretend to be Nick Fury for whatever reason. Don't know anything about that yet, but he's involved. He's up there doing something. I'd expect to see him again at some point. Maybe we'll see him when we find out when Captain America's actually on the moon.
With Mephisto?
Yeah.
I mean, there is a blue spot in the moon that is actually habitable.
There's also, I think at one point he was actually on the moon.
Probably.
Director Rogers.
You became a werewolf at one point.
Yeah, anything's possible, people. That's what the What If is going to be for, partially. That'll be fun. I mean, all these things that are coming up, they've really... And what an accomplishment they did with, the phase 1, 2, and 3, getting it started, then phase 2, like, while it was certainly its own thing and enjoyable, was a lot of setting up of basically phase 3. And, man, Infinity War and Endgame, it's like a once in a generational type thing. Like, do you think there's going to be another thing comparable to Infinity War and Endgame?
Maybe.
Like in what, 2 or 3 phases from now?
Maybe just
Or
one
two-
phase.
two
Like, by the
maybe
end of
just one.
We don't even know what the end of this phase is going to be. They announced a bunch of movies and stuff, but haven't even announced what the end of it's going to be.
And there's no team up movies.
Exactly.
I mean, short of the Guardians movies, but that's they're a team in and of themselves. So,
And I don't think we've heard anything for sure about the X-Men yet. Other than
there is a movie in development, they just don't have it titled yet.
And Deadpool 3 is being worked on.
Mm-hmm.
That could potentially, who knows what'll happen.
and of course you got the tease for Fantastic Four as well. At the end of the sizzle reel,
Sizzle reel. Fantastic Four,
Shut up and take my money.
done by the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes.
Let me just qualify
Yeah.
that, because
let's ignore those Fox atrocities.
oh my goodness, the last one. Oh my god.
Fantastic.
You know what? I think
Rough.
I waited till Redbox to get that one, and I rented it from Redbox, and I think I had a free rental, so I got it for free.
Right.
And I wanted my money back.
Right? It was so tough. I remember watching that movie and I was astounded because I kept checking like the time. And like the first time anyone even hinted at using a superpower was past the halfway point in the movie. And I was just like, well, just based off of like the timeline of this movie, we're half over. And I guess the rest of this is going to be them getting their powers, learning to use their powers, and then somehow defeating the enemy that we haven't even been clear upon what that is yet. What? It's rough. And it was really unfortunate because they had some good actors too. I remember when they announced the casting for that, I was like, this has potential. Ooh. I think the first Fox one wasn't amazing, but I enjoyed it. The second one was
It was a popcorn film. It was when
yeah.
you could just
Superhero.
go and
Yeah.
laugh at it and enjoy it.
Definitely, they didn't meet like the current standards that are being set for
Oh no,
superhero films. And that was the first time. I mean, that was Chris Evans too.
that was closer to a Joel Schumacher kind of movie, to where it was a lot of camp.
It's true.
I would say closer to Raimi Spider-Man. Like, it's closer to
Yeah. I'll agree. I'll buy that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was around that time period as well. That was like kind of the superhero movies that were coming out, along with the X-Men. Man, X-Men used to have stuff coming out pretty regularly. Now, I mean, obviously they got bought up by Disney, but that's why everyone's hoping to see them get integrated into
and do the Dark Phoenix movie
MCU.
again.
No, come on. Give the people what they want. Shove it down their throat. Yeah, I couldn't believe that they redid that so soon.
Well,
but
I don't think it was that bad, to be honest. I mean,
it was just surprising to see him do it again. And the first time they did it, I'm so conflicted about that movie because there's things I hate about it, and there were other things I really enjoyed, like the Juggernaut. He was hilarious.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
I thought the Juggernaut in Deadpool 2 was better. I'm sorry.
No arguments.
No one said that wasn't also true.
I'm just gonna rip you in half right now.
It is the juggernaut. But Deadpool 2, I'm too partial to that movie. I'd say that's better than so many things. And I guess honorable mention to Deadpool and Deadpool 2. They're not in the MCU, but man, can they reference it?
With this collar on, my superpower is just unbridled cancer. Give me a bow and arrow, I'm basically Hawkeye.
Oh, Deadpool, you're so mean.
Dubstep's are pussies. You're so dark! Do you sure you're not from the DC universe?
Whoa, pump the hate brakes, Thanos. Too much fun. Too much fun to be had there. Well, this was supposed to be about Phase 3, so we're over an hour. I'll just throw it out there. Is there anything else anyone wants to mention about Phase 3?
There was one thing that upset me about Endgame, and I know that it had to happen because we had to have the movie happen.
Mm-hmm.
But at the beginning of Endgame, they go to Thanos' garden planet, and Captain Marvel says there's nobody there, it's just him. We got nothing to worry about it. Prior to that, Rocket had said 21 days ago, Earth was the ground zero for a massive cosmic force. And 2 days ago, this planet, the same thing happened. So this is where they identified the planet, basically. Now, jump forward 5 years. And they're preparing their time heist. And Black Widow says, well, if you think about it, there's one point in time where there are 3 stones in New York City. And I'm like, if you think about it, there's one point in time where all 6 of those stones are together in one spot. Thanos is injured, and all you have to, and he's there for 21 days before he snaps them out of existence. You got 3 whole weeks.
Well,
what are you doing? Just go there, and you're not affecting timelines either. You're just
but they couldn't beat him the first time around.
They needed the movie to happen. They needed the time heist to happen. So,
and there's no guarantee he was there that entire time. And he opened a portal. We don't know where he went. All they know is that is where the second snap took place. So he could have done other things potentially in that time also.
I guess, but I stick to the fact that he snapped himself he went to the planet, and they had 21 days. They could have gone there. Thor had hit him in the chest with Stormbreaker, so he was injured. He was obviously injured when he performed the first snap. He was hurt. They could have gone there, got all 6 of the stones all at once. No timelines are going to be affected because we don't have to return them. He's the only one that's there, and we're going to defeat him, so snap everybody back. It's easy. And then you don't have to deal with, when you mess with time tends to mess with you back.
And
Just
that's
my thoughts.
If he was there, I mean, they could have at least checked.
Yeah. But they only had so many PEM particles. Like I said, they needed the movie to happen, so they had to go to 1970 whatever. And
I have problems with that. The amount of they kept saying we only have so many PEM particles, and they use ones like, well, now we only have 2 or whatever. So they only have that many. Then when the final fight starts, literally they bomb the Avengers compound. Ant-Man's shrinking and getting bigger and doing all kinds. I know that the getting bigger is a different thing, but I'm just like, hey, buddy, I thought we only had 1 of these things left until Hank Pym comes back. Now I'm pretty sure he couldn't possibly even get there, let alone make more of this until like the portals are open, and he would have to come through, and Hope would have to maybe could give him some more or something like that. But I was just like, again, because ignore that.
In 1970 something, Captain America grabbed 3.
He did grab several. So
he grabbed several of the pen, and that was to get him and Tony home. And then a lot of people will say, "Oh, well, that was so he could go return the stones." And I'm looking at it going, "Yeah, but if Pym is snapped back, he can make particles.
They can get more of that."
Yeah. So it was to give to Ant-Man so he can still function.
Yeah, because you're not a superhero without this. You're just man. Look out! It's regular man.
What's up,
Look at it.
regular size
It's
man?
Hawkeye. Now Hawkeye. Oh man, he's got it rough.
Poor Hawkeye.
Ronan.
He's like Aquaman.
And then he has to watch Scarlett Johansson die when everyone there is just like, oh, if you were more skilled, you could have made it. So you were the one that threw yourself off that ledge. But she wanted to save him because he has a family, and her family is the Avengers. So she says, we're about to get a movie where we see she has an entire, I don't know, other Russian superhero family.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what that's about. Oh, man. Anything else on Phase 3 of the MCU?
No, I think we're good.
No. Outside of the fact Marvel did just an absolute outstanding job with the casting of everybody throughout this whole saga. I mean, I can't remember who the casting director was, but she had said that Loki or Tom Hiddleston had a audition for Thor, but she could tell that that wasn't right, and then called him back for Loki, and then oh shoot, who is the other one? Oh, Sebastian Stan. He had auditioned for Captain America, but she's kind of seen like a darker side to him, and then called him back for Winter Soldier. So, I mean, just now, I can't imagine any of these people being played by anyone else. There's just no way. Well, except for that one.
I couldn't resist. So,
and we don't know what will happen in multiverse. So,
absolutely true.
Mephisto could still come. My theories still could be alive.
Absolutely. I'm full on still think that. I don't know why everyone's so like that they're just bailing on the whole Mephisto thing. I'm just like, look at the bug and the stork. I mean, look, just wait. Okay.
They're not bailing on it. They're just it's kind of become it's kind of become a big joke though. I mean,
it has.
And everywhere. Oh, it's Mephisto.
And look, if they hadn't done this casting, I wouldn't have a boner alert to abuse. So we've got to look at all sides of this thing.
I'm still hoping that'll work itself out. So,
oh, me too.
I don't know. There's a part of me that doesn't because I like the boner alerts.
Well, I do too. Look, we're not getting rid of the boner alert, no matter what happens.
The whole reason why the dude was there was to find someone who was in witness protection. We never found out who that was, and Ralph Boner sounded like a fake name, and his reaction to that name, also. So, and did she actually give him I could actually give him speed, or was that something he already had?
Yeah, I don't think she could. I think she even mentioned that she couldn't do that in one of the episodes. That she couldn't give them abilities, but she could control them.
Exactly.
That's why I'm saying, pay it off. Make it happen, and we'll still have a boner alert. I'll just say whatever. There you go. They'll have to use this one.
Oh, that's not right.
Can't go wrong with Sam.
Can't go wrong with Sam. That's it for today for MCU Mondays. We will see you next time. I don't know what we're going to be talking about next week. We might go back to WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier, but we still have a little bit more time before Loki begins. So we're going to be finding more great stuff. And hopefully, Marvel just drops some brand new trailers on our heads and we can watch that. But for now, that's it. We'll see you next time.
Sir!